WVTT is the news station that brings you news and information that you can depend on. We are first, fast, and accurate, bringing you the only local television news in the Twin Tiers. WVTT, depend on it.
A low tonight of 18 degrees, but we could see a warm up in the next few weeks. I'll have full weather updates for you later on in the 6 o'clock report.
Now, WVTT
Global News Update.
The Venezuelan president is said to be battling a severe lung infection 3 weeks after his latest cancer surgery. Venezuelan Interior Minister says Minister Chavez is following a strict regimen for respiratory insufficiency caused by the infection. The 58-year-old Chavez is in Cuba, where he's undergone 4 cancer surgeries in the past 18 months. He hasn't been seen publicly since this latest surgery, and officials have not said what kind of cancer he has. CNN's senior Latin American Affairs editor, Rafael Romo, reports.
President Hugo Chavez's medical condition remains a closely guarded secret in Cuba, but across the Caribbean, Venezuela is teeming with speculation.
Sometimes it looks as if the president is well, other times not so much. Honestly, we don't know what to believe, what the truth is and what's a lie. Everybody's living in uncertainty.
The Venezuelan president left his country for cancer surgery in Cuba on December 10th. He hasn't been seen in public since, but Vice President Nicolás Maduro has talked about complications, and that worries many Venezuelans.
Chavez is a strong man and a fighter. His party is not my party, but as a human being, one can't wish somebody else something bad.
Jorge Arreaza, the Venezuelan Science and Technology Minister and also the president's son-in-law, has been trying to quell the negative speculation. The medical team has explained to us that President Chavez's condition remains stable, but within a delicate state, Arreaza posted on his Twitter account.
Sometimes it's people themselves who start the speculation, saying things that are not true. We just have to be patient and wait.
But patience is running out for the Venezuelan opposition. Leaders say the Chavez government owes Venezuela an accurate assessment of the president's health condition.
Our demand for the truth is elementary because when a patient is a head of state who has just been reelected for a new term, there are implications that affect the entire nation.
The highest Roman Catholic authority in Venezuela is calling all political leaders to follow the law if a succession plan is needed. Chavez was reelected in October to another 6-year term in office and is supposed to be inaugurated next Thursday. But government officials haven't indicated if he will be able to attend his own inauguration, which may have to be postponed. The Venezuelan constitution also spells out a succession path that may be used if the president is officially declared permanently absent. Rafael Romo, CNN, Atlanta.
Fresh from taking their oath of office, members of the 113th Congress are scheduled to weigh in and smooth out some ruffled feathers today by casting their vote for billions of dollars in aid to Superstorm Sandy victims. As Martha Shade reports, some in his own party felt ignored by House Speaker John Boehner when Congress did not take up the measure during this week's focus on the fiscal cliff.
And that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God.
With that, members of the newly minted 113th Congress are expected to immediately get down to business. One of the first items, $9 billion in immediate help for flood insurance to victims of Superstorm Sandy. Lawmakers representing storm-ravaged areas were enraged this week when a vote on aid was scrapped.
The danger was this wasn't just a delay of one day. What I was concerned about, by being pushed over into the new Congress, this could delay it for months.
House Speaker John Boehner and other leaders also faced a firestorm of criticism from the likes of New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
America deserves better than just another example of a government that has forgotten who they are there to serve and why. 66 days and counting. Shame on you. Shame on Congress.
It's been more than 2 months since these scenes of major damage along the Jersey Shore, just north in Staten Island, and images of destruction in the borough of Queens, New York. After much wrangling, Speaker Boehner has assured lawmakers that the House will take up the remaining balance of the aid package by the end of this month.
It was a skirmish. It was very important. But as far as I'm concerned, it's over with. John Boehner and I had been friends before. Hopefully we're friends again.
I'm Martha Shade reporting.
U.S. soldiers forced to stay in Afghanistan. New details tonight about just how many American troops will remain in the country and risk their lives after the bulk of U.S. forces leave next year. Chris Lawrence has our story.
The options are on the table. At the low end, a little more than 6,000 troops, mostly special operations forces hunting terrorists, with a small amount of training for Afghan forces. The 10,000 option would still focus on al-Qaeda, but would add conventional troops to expand Afghan training. A 15,000 option would include even more conventional troops to go on limited patrols and give the Afghans even more support. Some experts say forget that last option, 15,000.
It's not politically tenable within Congress. It's not doable from a budget execution perspective.
Analyst Stephanie Sanak worked in Baghdad and developed options for the Iraq drawdown. She says between war fatigue and spending cuts, even the middle option may be a reach.
My guess is you will end up closer to the 6,000 person option than the 10,000 person option.
Analyst Jeff Dressler argues the U.S. will still have to keep helicopter crews, medical teams, and other backup for whatever troops are left.
Just keeping 6,000 probably isn't that much cheaper than just keeping 15,000 because there's basic things that you need to have there just for the 6.
Dressler says lowball options are minimizing the danger any remaining troops could face.
I would argue that even with 20,000 troops, you're still assuming quite a bit of risk. It's by no means a low-risk option.
General John Allen presented these options in one of his last acts as commander. But General Joseph Dunford, the man taking Allen's place next month, admits he wasn't included in the talks over options. That could signal some tense fights with members of Congress who are skeptical of the drawdown plan.
Senator, I have not been included in those conversations.
Boy, that's interesting to me. The guy that's going to take over the command has not even been included in those conversations.
So what's the big picture goal? In an interview with CNN's Aaron Burnett in Afghanistan, the defense secretary said terrorists just have to be defeated, not decimated.
I think that you can reach a point where you so significantly weaken al-Qaeda that, although there may still be a few people around, they won't be able to conduct the operations that they've conducted in the past.
Now, none of these options cover how quickly the bulk of the troops will come home this year and next year. That pace still has to be decided, and it could be just as big of a political fight. Chris Lawrence, CNN, The Pentagon.
An update on Wall Street. Let's take a look now at WVTT's Wall Street Wrap-Up. It's brought to you by 96.7 WVTT. Closing numbers, the Dow up almost 44 points to close at 13,435. NASDAQ up about 1 point to close at 3,101. The S&P up 7 points to close at 1,466. We got sports and weather coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it here on News Channel 25 WVTT.